Hello and happy holidays. Welcome to Queer Peer Reviews, where we review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie, and unfortunately, my co-host Lupe could not make it, so I just got the next best thing next to a lesbian. The Grizzly Bear himself, AJ.
No, actually, please, the Grizzly Bear was my father. So I am a straight white man, just co-hosting this episode of Queer Peer Reviews. You know, this makes sense,
Something special for the holidays,
Something special. Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review your favorite and not so favorite forms of queer media, such as shows, video games, and pretty much any kind of content that may have queer representation.
Gay people.
Gays.
Yeah. So today we're going to be reviewing Hulu's 2020 holiday film Happiest Season, which stars Kristen Stewart as Abby and Mackenzie Davis as Harper. So Harper invites her girlfriend Abby to stay with her family during the holidays because unfortunately Abby's parents are deceased and she just spends the holidays alone every year.
They literally have mentioned it 20 times that she's an orphan. Oh, you're the orphan? The orphan. The orphan.
Oh, yeah.
We can do a montage of
So
those.
sorry about your parents being dead. The next morning after Harper invites Abby over to her family's house for Christmas, she starts to regret it for some reason. You start to see a little bit of hesitation, like, are you sure you actually want to come? Like, it was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment invitation.
Yeah. In the first scene, I was like, oh, this is actually going to be a sweet movie. And then, like, you start to see red flag already right there.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a ton of red flags in this movie.
So many red flags. But anyway. So, basically, Abby meets up with her best friend, John, another gay man.
Gay man.
And they're going shopping, basically, and they go to a jewelry store where Abby buys a ring for Harper because she is planning to actually propose to Harper on Christmas morning.
Yeah, and then John's kind of like, you sure you want to do that type of thing? And like John, honestly, towards the beginning at least, is one of the most like logical people in this scenario.
I think he is throughout the film until the last like 15 minutes, he is the most logical, but that's a whole other thing.
On their way to Harper's family's house, Abby starts like talking to her and talking about like, oh, like your parents, I'm so excited to meet your parents, blah, blah, blah. And then Harper reveals a very, very big secret. It's not even a secret, it's more of a lie. She told Abby that she came out to her family and they were super accepting of it. But it turns out Harper never came out to her family.
Yeah, never said that big, important thing, which I understand, like being in the closet and such. But I feel like that's super important. It comes to having them, the significant other, the partner, over for the holidays to wake up next to you on Christmas morning in the same bed. I feel like that's a very big detail.
It's a very big detail. And like Harper starts to like justify herself, like, which is totally okay. Like it wasn't the right time and she was scared of how her family is gonna react because her dad is a councilman.
Throughout the movie, the family is very obsessed with how they're perceived in the public eye, whether it's for career purposes, just the family name. It's very much so, if something is different or something goes wrong, it affects the whole family. So it's like very attention-seeking, approval-seeking.
Yeah, exactly. And then Harper has the nerve to say, hey, like, we're just gonna pretend you're my friend, okay? And then on top of that, she even tells Abby, you know what, like, just don't let them know you're gay too.
Oh yeah, so the excuse that she told the parents like to invite Abby over for Christmas was, yeah, you know, she lost her parents, she's an orphan, so I just felt it was the right thing to do. Which, I didn't think of this, like, I thought, when we were watching this really wasn't a reason in the film. I was like wondering if the family was gonna kind of use that for like, oh, we're helping out an orphan, look how nice we are, like to help boost their publicity with this campaign. But that never really became a plot point, which I'm kind of glad about.
That would have been really messed up.
It really would have been messed up.
On top of all the other messed up things that happened in this movie.
Yeah, with all the messed up things that happened in this movie, I would not be surprised if that became one of them.
But yeah, so after Harper and Abby arrive, they meet the family. They meet the very excitable sister, Jane. They meet the mom who's like super obsessed with like the family's image and social media.
The mom's posting on social media every half hour, which nothing against posting on social media. PR is important.
No, I think the funniest part is that she whips out her iPad and she's like,
yeah.
And like the weirdest thing about the family is that they just keep, like we said earlier, they keep referring to her as like,
Here's orphan friend. This is
Yeah.
But anyway, we also learned that Harper has another sister named Sloane, who is basically like the trophy child. She went to law school, but Harper and Abby get separated, put into 2 separate bedrooms because, like, mom's not going to ask 2 grown women to sleep in the same bed together.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That'd be weird, you know?
People might think they're lesbians.
God forbid. Oh.
So later that day, the whole family and Abby go out together for dinner, and then they learn, oh, we're going to need to have an extra chair. Why do we need an extra chair, AJ?
So they need an extra chair because Harper's ex-boyfriend, who is apparently still really close with the family.
But yeah, Harper and Abby go to the bathroom to kind of like settle things because it gets really awkward. As they leave the bathroom, not only did they have Connor, one of Harper's exes there, they also run into Riley, also played by Aubrey Plaza. The dreamy Aubrey Plaza. But yeah, it just gets super awkward because like not only is one ex at this dinner, there's 2 exes, and when they get back to the table, that's all the family's talking about now is Riley's family, and they make this like side comment.
Yeah. It's like something along the lines of, such a shame that she chose that lifestyle because Riley's a lesbian, so.
Yeah, and it kind of just adds on to the whole thing of Harper being scared to come out because now you hear it straight forward that like the parents are kind of homophobic because they say, wow, it's such a shame.
And that definitely, as an audience member, you kind of see that and you're also like, oh no, are they going to be accepting of this?
So after this super awkward dinner, Abby goes and calls her best friend John just to check up how things are going. And that's when she basically tells him, like, hey, like, Harper's not out to her family.
So remember when she told me that she told her family that we were dating? So apparently that was a lie. She never told them.
She's a fucking liar.
She's a bitch.
And then, like, he goes, well, that's so weird. Like, do they just expect, like, their daughter to bring home her gay friend for the holidays? And she goes, wait a second. No. Her family doesn't think I'm gay. Her family thinks I'm straight. And he goes, have they ever met a lesbian?
I mean, in their defense, I used to have a horrible gaydar when it came to that stuff. I didn't know you were gay at first.
The more you know.
Wait, you're gay still? Oh, shit. Oh, you do?
Still? It hasn't been fixed yet. But yeah, John basically calls out all these, like, red flags that are happening in this relationship.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for it.
John is a real one. Especially, okay, I appreciate Abby and John's friendship so much because I feel like in most cases that could go very wrong, like when you're calling out a partner's like red flags, especially someone you've been with for a year at that point. I looked at this movie from a very psychological standpoint as well, by the way. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Comedy.
It didn't feel funny to me. It just felt toxic.
It was very toxic.
It just felt toxic. It didn't feel like a comedy.
Speaking of toxic, we also learn throughout the movie that Harper and her older sister Sloane are super duper competitive to being like the family's favorite. Forget about Jane, the younger sister. It's just Harper and Sloane. So as we mentioned before, Harper's dad is a councilman, and he holds this huge charity event to try to get people to support his campaign. This is one of the first instances where Abby and Harper get separated.
Yes.
Throughout this event, Abby catches Riley's eye. They kind of make eyes at each other, and you're kind of like, ooh, what's about to happen here?
Yeah. Kind of made me think, well, we're going to get into that more. We'll get into that more, but at this point, you're starting to think, wait, is the movie leading into a Riley and Abby plotline?
Which I fully support.
Which, yes, I fully support as well. Wouldn't have been fucking toxic.
So Abby kind of steps outside because things get a little awkward, and that's when she sees Riley again. And Riley kind of says something to her that kind of like raises eyebrows. And she's like, I can relate.
Yeah.
But Abby has no idea what she's talking about because Riley doesn't really elaborate with what she meant by that. So later on, after the charity event, it's nighttime. Abby's in her little basement room.
Harper wanted the sexy time, so she sent a side boob text, you know, not really showing anything.
Abby immediately gets up and starts sneaking up to the bedroom, but then like family's everywhere.
Yeah, okay, I don't even understand why her going upstairs would have been a problem, why she needed to sneak. If the family really thinks, oh, they're just friends, it wouldn't be a problem for her to go into the bedroom, I guess?
Not at all.
No, so I feel like the sneaking was just, if anything, that's just adding to suspicion.
But yeah, so during like her sneaking around, like she almost gets caught, so she runs into like the little pantry, and then
Literally.
like makes all the possible noise she could
Roomba's
possibly
going
make.
off.
The Roomba's going off, and then the mom opens the door and she's like,
Are you on
"Abby,
drugs?"
no, she's like, Abby, what are you doing in the closet?"
Yo, there's so many jokes like that in this movie, like, are you in the closet? Come on out. Or something like, there's like stuff like that. It's like so low key and like, it's so cringy.
Yeah, so then like mom escorts Abby back downstairs after she came out of the closet. And
Yeah, so Abby comes out of the closet.
Abby comes out of the closet again, and she goes back down to her room, and that's when she finds that Harper snuck down to her room instead. But yeah, the next morning after they spend a night together, they realize, oh crap, we fell asleep. But then we hear knocking at the door. The mom is like, Abby, what's wrong? There's something blocking the door. Like, why is the mom trying to barge into Abby's room right
Yeah,
now?
like what an invasion of, I just need, there's like, the amount of invasion of privacy that is like happening in this movie, it's insane. Like the mother, it's like if something's blocking the door, maybe there's a reason for it.
There's a reason for it,
'Cause
because
the
there's
door-
no lock on the door.
Yes, that's exactly, there is no lock on the
But
door.
yeah, so then the whole family starts barging in, having conversations. Harper is hiding behind the door so she doesn't get caught in Abby's room, half naked basically.
The twins see what's called Harper through the crack in the door. Abby's like, shh, to the twins, and like, I don't know. But basically, after that, like, they all go to the mall to do this. They go shopping for the white elephant gift.
And this part isn't super important, but kinda is. Those two little shitty ass kids that caught Harper in Abby's room,
Yes.
they go shopping with Abby, and they basically put like something that's unpaid for in Abby's bag.
Jewelry.
Yeah, and then Abby basically gets arrested at the mall for shoplifting.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, the reputation is everything to this family.
Yeah.
So Abby, after getting arrested, immediately gets uninvited to like the dinner that they were having that night. So after Abby got invited to the holiday party, she still had to go out for her white elephant shopping because obviously that didn't end so well.
Yeah.
While she's out shopping, she then she runs into Riley again,
Yeah.
who was also out doing some shopping. Both are clearly upset about something.
But basically, they're both crying and they're both trying to have this conversation. They're like, yeah, I have a stupid case of poke eye syndrome. You know, if you poke yourself in the eye with your finger, apparently it gets really red. Like,
And you tear up a little bit.
it was like weird because it was like strangely like, wait, is this chemistry? It was like weird, but it was stupid. It was cringy.
Yeah, it was a cute joke they
was a
had
cute little
together.
joke.
So they both decide they're going to go to a bar together. They wind up going to this drag bar. They start talking about how Riley and Harper used to date, and that's when Riley reveals that like back in the day, like in high school, they were each other's first girlfriends, and they used to write like little love letters to each other because Harper wanted to keep her and Riley's relationship a secret in high school.
Yeah.
And then one day, one of Harper's friends found one of the love notes and was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, oh, and yeah. Annette went so well when she said, oh no, it's because Riley has a crush on me and she won't leave me alone or something like in high school. Like, basically just saying, oh, just like hiding the relationship as an entirety.
I'm not
throwing it
gay.
under the rug.
This creepy gay girl is just writing me
Yeah.
love notes.
Yeah.
And then that's when Riley reveals like what she said earlier at that one party, like I can relate. Basically, she can relate that she used to be in love with somebody who was too afraid to show the world who she really was. But yeah, like while they're at this bar, like you can just see some sort of chemistry between Riley
Yeah.
and Abby. Like they're joking together, they're being super sweet to each other.
Yeah.
Riley basically pushes Abby out of like a little comfort zone and has like the drag queens come up to her and like start singing.
Yes, she got Abby to sing, and it was like, I like this dynamic between Riley and Abby.
Me too.
So far, way better than Abby and Harper.
So much better than Abby and Harper.
much better.
But of course, Miss I Have to Ruin Everything Harper texts Abby's like, hey, you should totally meet us at the bar. So Abby gets up.
So Abby is at this bar with basically Harper's friends, and once again, the ex-boyfriend's Connor. Harper tries to trying to like get Abby a little bit involved in the fun, but not really because she's kind of excluded too. And she's very much so more focused on talking to Connor the whole time. So of course, logically, Abby is gonna leave, you know? She gets home, she gets into bed, and up until 2 a.m., Connor and Harper are pretty much out at this bar, you know, talking, and I think...
We even see, like, text messages,
Yes.
like, of Abby frequently
Yes.
messaging her, like, hey, is everything okay? I love
Yeah.
you, I miss you. And Harper just never responds.
So next morning, Abby wakes up, and the only text that she got from Harper is, K, night.
Basically, yeah.
And then they get into, she
Yeah,
goes
they
into the room, and they get into a whole fight. So
Yeah,
you
they
can
get
go
into
ahead.
this, yeah. So after seeing that text, Abby goes up to Harper's room. They basically talk it out, but it forms this argument of Harper saying, oh, you're like suffocating me, like we need space.
And now Harper is gaslighting, Abby.
But I'm like, you invited her to the house to spend time with you and your family, and you're basically pushing Abby away, and you're saying Abby is suffocating
This could
you.
have all been avoided if you told your family. If you did not tell your family, do not invite her over, honestly. That's my take on
Ugh, it was just, ugh.
All of her decisions are impulsive and self-destructive.
But Abby just calls her friend John, basically rants to him, and then that's when he decides he's going to come over and try to save her. Abby
Right.
goes to Riley for comfort, and then Harper sees them together and basically gets mad. This is happening like also quickly throughout the movie. And then this brings us to the final scene, one of the final scenes, which is the Christmas party, and tensions are high.
Jesus Christ.
We see Harper getting really jealous because Abby's hanging out with Riley. They're sharing a drink together. They're talking about their worries.
Abby's best friend, John, appears at the party as well, saying, okay, that last call we had was a cry for help, all right? So I'm here to save you. Get your stuff and we're gonna go. So Abby sees Harper with Connor, and basically she just goes up to him and says, it's over, and starts going downstairs to pack her things and leave, which, you know what? You go, girl.
Good for
Get out.
her.
Get out. No, honestly,
Make these decisions. Get out of that toxic relationship.
I hate what happens next, though. I hate Harper with a passion. She starts playing the fucking victim through this whole thing when it was her decisions that caused this whole thing to happen.
And that's when they kiss, or they almost kiss.
Yeah, and then Sloane walks in.
Sloane starts marching her way over to the Christmas party. Harper tries to stop her, and throughout this like little argument and fight, they learn that Sloane and her husband are no longer together, they're separated. They make their way down to the party, and that's when Sloane outs Harper as a lesbian and that Abby is her girlfriend. She just denies it. She's like, no, like, I'm not a lesbian, she's lying. And like, you just see
Abby's heart drop.
basically she's watching from the side, and she leaves.
She walks out the door, rightfully so.
So John chases after Abby, and honestly, as much as I love John throughout the movie, he started giving her the worst advice he could possibly give her. And he basically said something along the lines of like, just because she isn't ready now doesn't mean she never will be, and she loves you, which like, at some point in Harper's life, that is a valid argument. Like, if you're not ready to come out, you shouldn't be forced to come out. But in this situation, to convince Abby to stay with Harper after she flat up like lied to everybody.
Right. No, this is not a situation where you would stay, because I'm sorry. I am the type of person that likes to believe that people can change. However, you also have to acknowledge that currently these are the circumstances of this person's life and of their livelihood, and you cannot accelerate that change any faster. That is just my perspective. Sorry, I'm like psychological on this fucking shit.
But yeah, honestly, like if that was me, like that would have been the end of it. I would have never spoke to the girl again, because that's not only like I understand for Harper it was humiliating, but also to Abby. Like that is so, like Harper basically did again what she did to Riley.
Exactly.
And embarrassed her in front of everybody.
You even see Riley's like facial expression during the scene, because Riley's also at the party still, you know.
Yeah.
She kind of like sits back and is like,
But after all that headache of her being outed and her lying and all that toxic shit that happens, and John giving her the worst advice she possibly could give him, Harper goes and apologizes to Abby. They get back together, everything is fine, the family realizes, okay, we were part of the problem too, and they make up, and like we fast forward to a year later, Harper and Abby are engaged.
it's Christmas.
It's Christmas again, and it's just a happily ever after. Like, Abby's back in this toxic ass relationship. And that's how we end the movie. Fuck you, Harper.
Yeah, fuck you, Harper. That's it.
Alright, so let's get to the ratings here at Queer Peer Reviews. We're going to review everything we do out of 5 different categories for a grand total of 100.
Let's start with representation. How well did Happiest season portray its queer themes and characters?
And for representation, I give it a 6.
I give it a 3.5.
Oh my god. So why do you give it a 3.5?
It was it was queer representation. It just wasn't healthy queer representation. If anything, I feel like it was more representing a toxic relationship more than anything. So just because you slap the queer label on a movie doesn't mean it should be the ideal representation for all queer relationships, I feel. Especially when you're with a partner such as Harper. The way Harper was acting and treating Abby in this whole film, and Abby basically was accepting it, even in the end, when Abby decided to stay with Harper, just because she basically chased her down in the parking lot at a gas station to say, I love you, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I told them it's okay, it's all gonna be okay, now basically giving that whole spiel. In my opinion, if that were me, if I was in Abby's shoes there, would not have taken Harper back, okay? Like,
That's valid, yeah. I mean, I give it a 6 because, like you were saying, it does have, the representation is there. It just shows one of a toxic relationship, which honestly, I feel like was written very well as a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that I want movies about toxic relationships because I'm not crazy.
right.
But
I don't want it to be glamorized.
yeah, it shouldn't be glamorized. I gave it the score that I did because, like, at least on Abby's end, she was represented very well as a lesbian, and I just feel like she was a lesbian who was more in love with her partner than her partner was with her.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
see
feel like that
point.
was represented very well. Not necessarily a good form of representation,
Right.
but it was there.
It was there.
It was
The
there.
characters were being represented properly, just not the relationship. I'm changing it
Honestly,
to a 5, so it can be half and half.
I'm going to a 5 too.
Because I feel like we both made good points, and I guess this is
It's
something.
not good, it's not bad, it was there.
It was there.
It was there. So we're both gonna go with the 5 instead.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the closet scale.
And for the closet scale, we give it.
I give it a 2.
I gave it a 4. You went lower than me.
Haha.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not doing it for me.
No. No shot.
Where do I begin? Anywho, like, if you're in a relationship with somebody for a whole year and then you found out they lied to you about being out to their family.
Yeah.
Because they were so scared of how they would react, not because like you thought they'd be homophobic or anything, just the sheer fact that it would harm your family's representation if they learned you were gay and you wouldn't be the favorite child anymore. Like, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me, and it doesn't sit right with me that Abby still wanted to stay with Harper after everything she put her throughout the movie.
Right.
And honestly, it would scare me now too. Like, if I wasn't out to my family, like, how would me being out to my family affect my family's reputation?
Yeah.
And like, would I have to go through the same thing that Harper went through just to protect my family? No.
Right. No. God. Ugh. So I am obviously a straight white man, so I cannot speak for someone who is in the closet or not. Overall, I feel like this just was not a good representation of like how it should be to come out of the closet, especially when basically Harper was outed in the worst way possible
In front of her family and peers.
and peers, and in regards to the family's reputation for Harper, like, she just did not feel comfortable coming out. It's definitely an accurate portrayal of the fear that comes with it, but it's just, I don't see it being inspirational for others who are trying to come out, who want to come out of the closet. I actually probably want to give it a lower score because you made a lot of excellent points on that.
No, you're fine. You justified your 4. But like also especially the fact that like Harper has straight up lied about 2 of her relationships, about her not being. It's the lying for me.
Next up, originality.
So for originality, I give it a 6.5.
5.
5. You go first.
Okay. So for originality, I feel like I've seen a lot of coming out movies in the past. I haven't watched many, but I have seen this kind of a plot beforehand where, all right, it's a whole thing where like there's a fear that the family might not like the person, daughter or member of the family is kind of going out with, like that is being introduced to the family on the holidays. I feel like it's what is that one movie, Meet the Fockers?
Meet the Fockers,
it's like,
but meets Christmas.
It's gay Meet the Fockers, but closeted. I feel like that's how.
Good way of putting it.
I feel like it's gay Meet the Fockers, but closeted.
Yeah, I agree with your negatives. I guess the reason why I scored a little higher than you is because like lesbians don't get a lot of representation in media, even when it's not good representation, like it's a toxic story, it's still there. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything exactly like this, but I do agree with your reasons for it not being as original, like secrets being kept from the family and then it being revealed in the end.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the writing.
And for writing, we give it?
I give it a 7.3.
I gave it a 7.
Nice. Honestly, this is the best part of the movie was the writing. It was written very well, thoroughly entertained.
Yes, even though it wasn't the most original, I still felt engaged in like, I felt like engaged as an audience member. I was interested in what was going to happen next because there were so many different, I wouldn't say there was too many, there was the right amount of subplots that kept me wondering, all right, how's this going to affect this? How's this issue going to affect this issue in the movie? And it just all kind of intertwined. And I was like, I really do like it. Also, the dialogue was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I felt like these were real people and not, my thing's fallen. I feel like these were real people and not and it wasn't a scripted film, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, like you said, it was written very well. The dialogue, amazing. Honestly, it would have been probably like a 9 if they decided to go through what everybody else watching the movie was thinking, that Abby should have gotten together with Riley.
That would have made the movie so much better.
Honestly, she should have left her ass.
Yeah, she should have left her ass and gone with the person who is at the same stage in life. I mean, just because, like, not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like not shaming people who are like not out of the closet yet, because that's not what this is about.
No, that's not
at
what
all.
this is about. That's not what this is about.
Like it was just that the whole thing of hiding and like putting Abby down for it too.
And putting Abby down, neglecting her because
gaslighting.
Gaslighting, neglecting.
Abby and Riley should have gotten together. This would have gotten a 9.
And last but not least, our overall feelings towards the film.
And so for our overall feelings towards the film, I give it a 7.
I gave it an 8.
Nice. But yeah, it was an enjoyable movie. I did get super, super frustrated at times with especially Harper. But honestly, what brought up being able to enjoy the movie as much was John's character, Abby's character, Riley's character. They were just, I need a movie about the 3 of them because they were great.
My reason for the 8, pretty much the same thing. I enjoyed the movie overall. Fun fact about me, I watch a lot of like anime and combat and action movies. I don't really watch a lot of live action stuff like this.
Live action?
Shut up. I like animation better. I don't like real people. But I watch a lot of Marvel movies, stuff like that. This was a nice change of pace for me, because a lot of the times these kind of movies don't really do anything for me. And the fact that I was actually able to evoke an emotion from me, even if it was negative most of the time, I find it to be pretty successful as a film itself, you know. I just don't think it was healthy. It was not healthy, but because it was not healthy, it had conflict, and the conflict made it engaging and enjoyable to watch to an extent.
Yeah, just because the movie pissed me off doesn't mean I didn't have fun along the ride, but nonetheless.
We actually watched it together, and there were times when we were reacting, like, What? This bitch? No. What? Is she in... Gaslighting. Thought.
All right, so let's get to our QPR total. Obviously, we have AJ right here, but we have our other straight ally, Trayvon. Trayvon, can you hit us with that gay shit?
Well, Happiest season starred Kristen Stewart. It garnered a 56.8, making it a D minus.
D minus.
Dick minus.
The dick minus.
Why you don't like it?
How far away is that from the F?
Oh, it's just barely. 55
Okay,
is-
so we're borderline giving it an F, but it got a D.
Also, if you guys didn't change that first score, it would have got an F.
Okay. But yeah, Hulu, if you gave the people what they wanted, which was Abby getting out of that toxic relationship, getting with Riley, would have been so much better on our end. We
Yeah.
would have loved that movie.
That was-
But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy holidays. If you check in the description below, we have links to the Trevor Project along with other queer-friendly links. And we also have links to our social media pages as well. So yeah.
Be sure to follow us at Queer Peer Reviews. And yeah, like and subscribe. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.